Commander Masters is going to be a bloated, overpriced product designed to lure players in and make them lose money. And I haven't even seen all the cards in the set yet, and I feel comfortable saying that, which makes me think that this product is setting players up for disaster. I'm here to put the brakes on, to slow down the hype train before players get too excited. Welcome back everyone, MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today, and that is Commander Masters. It's coming in August, and in May, I believe we get our first real kind of sneak peek at the card set itself. And I've talked about this in previous videos, and I'm going to keep bringing it up. When we have a product like this, at this price point, it's destined to make players feel bad. Yes, there'll be highs and lows for certain players, but for the majority of players opening this product, they're only going to see a devaluation of the cards that they are opening. There are a few exemptions I'll get into in this video, but let's stick to the main product right now. Depending if we take a look at the collector boosters, which they're going with the 4-pack, right? Or we go ahead and we take a look at the set boosters, which are like $600 here in Canada. Maybe even a draft box for like $500 and change. They are all exceptionally expensive products, and they're filled with reprints. Remember that this is a reprint product. There is nothing new in there that doesn't already exist in Magic the Gathering that you can go to your store and buy. Which means unless you're after the flashy new Type 1.5 Halo version 3 subsection 2 foil of this particular card, why are you buying it? What drives a player to want to get that new card when the value overall continues to be lost? Well, here's what happens. We have a player buying a pro. Let's just say Joe Schmo, who loves nachos and cheese, goes out and spends $600 on a set booster box. Good for them. Canadian prices, by the way. $600 for this box. They open it, they keep 20% of the cards, and the rest get filtered down as the price gets devalued until it reaches players who couldn't afford high-priced products and can now afford to buy the lower-end cards. So really, the expensive player has now, I guess, subsidized a player who couldn't normally afford to get these cards. But the money still ended up in the pocket of Wizards of the Coast. One, from the lower-tiered player, as well as two, the higher-priced player who originally bought the product. And then stores in between also benefited from the buy-sell motions of players bringing products in. It's like the whole ecosystem of Magic. But it's really starting to tell on how Wizards is doing things because the prices are out of whack with the valuation of the cards they're putting inside. They don't have any cards left in the arsenal that they can shove into this product to make it hold up, to make it hold that value. Now, when you take a look at this stuff, when we look and we see stuff like this, where it says, hey Mark, why does Commander Masters have new cards? Master sets have never had new cards in them. We've only seen 100% reprint sets, so why are the new cards in Commander Masters? And here's the answer. The Commander Masters set doesn't have new cards. As Masters sets are all reprints, the Commander decks associated with those cards do have new cards because Commander products like that bring new cards to the table, yada yada. Okay, so now we have a deviation. We have a split on the product. Because I just told you there's nothing in these things that are going to make you want to buy them. Nothing. It's a reprint set. All these cards are things that have been around. I don't care about the Dragon. I don't care about the Capture. And I don't care about Jeweled Lotus. After you own one or two, do you really need more? And if you've noticed, all those cards, by the way, have lost 20% of the value, almost to the number, since the announcement came out. You've seen a little downtick of the card, and it's kind of cruising along because we don't know how hard the cards will be on the track printing. I think the Dragon will be pretty easy to get, and I think they'll still make the Jeweled Lotus a marquee card that's hard to get. But until they know, these cards have been devalued by 20% to give a safety net for the people who still own those cards, right? They're like, I'm not selling mine. I'll just let the price fall. I'll keep my card. No sense trading in, no sense buying others. But we do have new cards. But those new cards are only going to be found in one product. Now, when you take a look at that product and you say, hey, as Master Set, Commander Masters is comprised of both reprints as well as new powerful cards. But is it? You'll find 4 pre-constructed decks, each with 10 new Magic the Gathering cards. But look at that tricky wording they just used. It has new powerful cards inside the set, but they're not inside the set, which is what people's minds will read. Isn't it beautiful how they do that? So if there's no value there, if that's not where the value is going to be, where is the value? The only place players will find true value is going to be in that deck set of Commander decks. Those 4 Commander decks, each having 10 new cards for each of those sets, is where the power will be, which means Slivers, the Eldrazi, new cards being added here could really ramp up those decks and add future value. And it's interesting because that future value will trickle down. If they add some decent cards that revive Eldrazi decks and drive value into older Eldrazi cards, then those values go up, which means they can be reprinted in future Master Sets. If you have Slivers and new Slivers get brought into the mix, revamping and making Slivers more popular, and with the myriad of Slivers and, of course, Eldrazi available, it raises the stock price of the existing cards, allowing them to be reprinted further down the line. It's a pretty genius move, actually. It's nothing new in marketing, but you can see what Wizards of the Coast play is. They're saying there's new cards. Those new cards, of course, are inside the Commander sets, as Rosewater said. No, we don't really put them in the actual set. They're only inside the, Fireside Chat Commander decks, and I'm not sure what's going on because I'm not really in the loop anymore, right? Guys, they're going to be inside that set. And that's where the value is going to be held. I did a previous video where I said basically the only set people are going to want to buy are going to be the Commander decks. You saw they were sold out here, and that was 401 games. I use them a lot for this stuff, but it doesn't really matter. They'll get a restock after they get their allocation numbers. All these stores will. They may put a few up, not knowing how many they're going to get. Trust me, there will be enough. There will be a lot of that product coming out because they know that's where a lot of the value will lie in some of these new cards. They will still have higher end cards, well, at least they used to be high-end cards before the reprints, and you're going to see a lot of players mad because it'll devalue their cards, and there'll be a small subset of players who are very happy to get affordable reprints that they can now add to their collections. I'm not downplaying the fact we need reprints, but we need some kind of reprint schedule because they're just destroying the actual value. And I mean, Bank of America just mentioned that in a recent article. I'm sure you guys have probably heard about it by now, where they kind of said, Wizards is still way overdoing things, and that's true. They need to throttle back a lot harder than they are. They need to just make things a little bit more calm in the ocean. Stop throwing a lot of pebbles out there causing ripples. They got to slow it down. And this kind of set, when it comes out, I'm here to remind you to slow it down. These are going to be around for a long time. It's not like you can't, anything on this shelf here that's expensive, you can still buy it. You can still find Modern Horizons 2, Modern Horizons. You can find the Masters series. You can find collectors. They've been on sale. Think about that. Textured foils a year ago were so exciting, have already been on sale. Like 30% off the previous highs. Because when you look at those price points, after the initial hype goes by, nobody wants to buy them. And that's why singles become so relevant. And that's why singles rule the day nowadays in the market of Magic the Gathering. Wizards can hope all they want that the higher priced players will feed the lower end cards that they don't want down to the masses. But either way, they're the ones benefiting, and the players who can afford those boxes aren't buying as many as they used to. They're really skipping by on a lot of these products. But I think those Commander decks are where the money and the value are going to be. I think those cards, those 10 cards, will be key. And even if they are the key card, I'm still waiting to see what all those spoilers are. I would not dive in and do a bunch of pre-orders for that kind of value and then pull out later and just mess over your LGS. You don't want to screw them over like that. If you're not sure, hang back. They can always get more. Okay, there will be, yes, there may be lower print runs coming. You probably heard the news, there's lower print runs. It's not that low. It's not one and done like it used to be. They're just holding it at the distribution warehouse level, and they're not going to release it all. They'll drip it out, and that's fine. To keep the prices at a certain point, I understand that. But if you want the product, you will be able to get it. Just hang on. Be rational, be reasonable, and understand the value will be there still, even if you wait a few weeks or a few months to buy it. Look at the cards objectively. See if there are cards that you desire. Because I mean, products like this are starting to bother me. I don't mind a reprint set. I don't like the price points. I would rather they had good cards inside that are harder to get and keep the price point a little bit more affordable so it doesn't have to be only the super high players who are buying it and then funneling the cards down. I want everyone to kind of have some kind of access to these type of cards. So you want to have a reasonable price point, which means maybe you take a few of the big cards out, leave them on the side for another reprint set, and just dilute the pool of cards a little bit, allowing some of those values to recover. Players can only absorb so much, and the player pool only grows so far. This is where Wizards has failed to understand the market they're feeding cards into. I think they're just now starting to grasp what they've almost messed up after 30 years of hard work in this game. We don't care about the flash. We don't care about tons of different versions. Yes, it's nice to have them once in a while, but you got to make it special. Why I think full art lands aren't worth anything anymore. Why I think things like unhinged and unglued and that don't really matter because they're everywhere. You killed it. So stop killing the golden goose, go back to some basics, get it down pat, and get things smartened up. But right now, everyone, hold on the hype train. Really take a moment to review everything you're after, things you want to add to your collection. Write them down, put it on a spreadsheet. And then go hunting when spoiler season comes around. Remember, you're in control. It's your own train. If you want to join the hype train, that's cool. If you want to get off and sit in the sidelines, that train always comes around again. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with me on the channel today. Can't wait to read those comments in the comment section. And thanks again to everyone for allowing me to entertain you with my videos each and every day. For everyone hitting that subscribe button, thanks again, guys. We are getting closer to that 20K subscription. I can't wait to show you guys the party we're going to have. It's going to be a good time. Thanks again, guys. I look forward to seeing you soon. Have an awesome day. And don't forget, bring a friend to Magic. Hey, guys, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons of this channel who show that support each and every day. We got a lot of stuff coming up. The patrons are amazing. Thanks again for supporting that channel and allowing me to make this content. Patrons rock. Don't buy it. Welcome back to the end credit scene where we talk about the Necronomicon Ex Mortis. We shop smart, shop S-Mart, and we don't buy products like this blindly anymore. We really have to take our dollar and spend it wisely. There's lots of great singles that will be coming, but they're all going to be affordable because Wizards doesn't know when to stop yet. They will learn at some point. So just keep an eye on things because when these cards hit the price levels that you're after, you got to make sure you're ready to hit the button and say, that's the price I'm willing to pay to get that card, and you can be okay with it if the card goes to zero. You want it because you want to play with it. Remember, these are all reprints. They're going to happen over and over and over again. It's not a reserve list card. It's not one and done type deal. So lots of good cards, though, lots of good stuff. And I had to make this video because I just saw some people talking a lot of hype on some of the emails I was getting. I'm like, nope, stay away. Be smart with your money, man. Stuff like this has taught us that Wizards will do anything they can to get into our wallets, and they're going to try to control the narrative of how they do it, and we've got to push back on that and say, nah, you got to do something a lot better than that to get that kind of money for a sealed box. I mean, they're going to be great to open. I'm sure 401 will let me open some to sell the singles out and stuff. I'm sure it'll be a great time, a lot of excitement for the cards you'll be able to pull, but we don't even know all the cards, and I already know that there's nothing in there I really need other than maybe a Mana Crypt. If a Mana Crypt comes around, I got to get it because it's a Mana Crypt and I need to get one, and this will force the price down to a level I consider, you know, reasonable for a card like that. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. What card are you hoping? Is it, oh, you know what? Wouldn't it be cool if one of the decks was like a Necronomicon? Oh, that guy gives us an Army of Darkness secret lair at some point. I just keep thinking about it. All right, guys, have a great one. Talk to you soon. Don't forget, shop smart, shop S-Mart. Get some nachos and cheese. Sit down, chill out. Oh, maybe some guacamole on the side. Yeah.